Whew. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm back. I'm back today. And hopefully I can actually maintain this specific stream here for, you know, the at least an hour time limit that I intend to, you know, give it. I did say I will. I said yesterday, I sent out a tweet yesterday that internet might be quite dodgy here because yesterday we had quite the storm over here. Yeah, that storm was pretty big. No tornadoes or anything, just a lot of lightning. It's a lot of lightning. And because I'm currently in a place right now where lightning strikes are prevalent in those cases, well, suffice to say, something got hit somewhere and knocked out, like, the power yesterday for a little bit, and then also made the internet a bit kind of, you know, wonky over here. So, it is repaired today, but I still don't trust it, and especially with... Well, I don't trust myself streaming SWTOR in this kind of environment at the moment, because I was looking through the VODs for, like, SWTOR, like the last two streams I did, and in cutscenes, the game is fine. The game is actually pretty decent. But whenever the game is in movement, yeah, that's when the quality takes, like, a nosedive. Like, a big nosedive. Yeah, so maybe it might have something to do with the fact that I'm still trying to stream at, like, 1080p or something. I need to figure out how to, you know, knock that down quite a bit. It might be just something on, like, Twitch's end, like, on my, like, profile end, that I gotta go and change, but I'll probably try to see if I can do that next stream. Oh, also, this is having to do with, like, what you're seeing right now. I was thinking of moving myself, like, moving what you see here more towards the center of the screen. Yeah, the reason why I want to move this stuff more, well, my whole, like, spiel here with the chair and the monitor and everything, like, the reason why I want to move it more towards the center is basically because maybe I personally feel I might be too far off to, like, the right. So, yeah, I'm just comparing this with other VTubers. I'm just comparing this with other VTubers and trying to, you know, gauge, okay, I probably should try to make, you know, me, like, more of a focal point on, well, the whole stream. Well, especially in these cases, too, where it's just gonna be me chatting today. I probably should be doing that. But then again, I do have this, like, nice thing going on where it's just, like, you see this lady in the background right there? Yeah, that lady in the background. Man, I might be moving myself to block her, essentially, if I start moving more towards the center of the screen. But, yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna keep it like this for now because I just, you know, I like what's going on my left end right there. Though, you know what? Whatever kind of desserts, like, that are here, that you're seeing at the bottom left there, maybe I can do away with. I only had those, like, there just for, like, decoration. Turns out, you kind of have to eat the food or else it'll turn rock solid, and then it'll turn into an actual, like, decoration. Also, it kind of gets, like, I think it's gone, like, a bit moldy and, like, kind of smelly, and, I don't know about my sensitivity to, like, mold and stuff like that. So I probably should toss that out sooner rather than later. Though knowing me, it's probably going to be later, especially after I contract some sort of life-threatening disease from keeping this, like, rock-solid food just on, like, my coffee table here. It's funny, I'm more concerned about, like, the food right there rather than, like, the mushrooms growing out of that, like, pack there. Look, I don't... Okay, listen. people have like potted plants to decorate like their living rooms, right? Me, I'm trying to give like I'm trying to give some exposure to the fungi. Fungi is not bad. Look, fungi can be seen as like a parasite that takes over whatever dead carcass like seems to be like, you know, look, nature stuff, right? But there's some beauty in fungus, certain kinds of fungus. Not every fungus though, because there are certain kinds of fungus that I personally just can't stand, one of them being the enoki mushroom. That's why the mushrooms you see there are not enoki. I really don't like enoki mushrooms, I'm sorry. These ones here, whatever like these are, those are fine. Those maintained like their like height ever since I just stuffed them in that bag. No, actually, honestly, I actually just really don't like enoki mushrooms. One of my best friends, that's her favorite kind of like mushroom to like eat. But for me, like the way you would eat enoki mushrooms is just, oh man, I don't like the texture of it. Like for me, I would need to eat each mushroom like individually off of like the one clump that you usually see them in. Yeah, that's how I can eat enoki mushrooms. But other than that, oh, actually, you know what? Actually, let me go and get a picture of enoki mushrooms, because, look, I don't know if... Actually, I might go to the screen where I have, like, the whole, like, you know... I might screen share just like my desktop then. I might do that. Where is it? Window capture 4? Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking at. There we go. Then I can just put this up here. I remember that I had this from the other day. Boom! Oh, and yeah, that's a little better. Oh, what the hell? There we go. A little bit more? That's a candle. Okay, that's a little... Okay, look. Put that right there. Haha! See? Look at this right here. These are the kind of mushrooms that I really don't like. Right here. Right here. You see this? Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you see that right there? These kind of mushrooms right here? Look at that. Look at that, like, cluster of just, like, evil right there. Yeah, to me, that's just no good. I'm sorry. That's just no good. I think this is, like, a D tier, like, fungus. And I'm a guy that really likes their fungus. So, yeah. Enoki mushrooms are kind of like a flub for me. I know you have them a lot with like hot pot. Hot pot? I would see the first time I had enoki mushrooms, I already had a feeling at the time that I wasn't going to like the texture of them. So for me, the first time I had enoki mushrooms was in a situation where I thought I would end up liking them because of, you know, well, basically, I had them first, well, through Hot Pot, because, well, enoki mushrooms are actually pretty good with, like, Hot Pot, according to, like, a lot of people. The problem with me, though, is that still didn't, like, alleviate the texture issues that I have with, like, the fungus there. It just doesn't, it's just not appetizing for me. Also, it somehow triggers my gag reflex, so I can't have those. I can't have those unless you chop them by like one by one individually, like off of the clump. Actually, speaking of hot pot, shoot, I think one of my favorite things to have like in like hot pot, aside from the obvious like thinly cut like brisket and stuff like that, those are just classics. But man, I'm sorry to say, this might be a bit unhealthy of me because that is just a ton of gluten, but like fried bread, like Chinese style fried bread, like dip that in like hot pot and then like have it absorb like the broth and everything. Oh, ooh, that is nice. That is absolutely nice. One of my favorite things, and obviously that is something I don't get until I know I'm nearing the end of like my hot pot meal. Because with hot pot, here's the thing. Let me like, actually let me give you like a visual. Give you a visual again. Let's see. Hot pot. No, not there. Right here. Yeah, let's just give this as like a visual right now. So for hot pot, what I tend to do is that typically the hot pot places I go to end up with, you know, they typically end up with you getting like the broth just as is, not really much anything in it. Yeah. It's one of the disappointing things I found out with a lot of hot pot places. They don't really give you like a broth with like some stuff already in there for flavor. So in these kinds of cases, what I do is just I pick out the vegetables that I would know that I'm gonna keep in the broth for like the long haul, just so I can flavor like the soup, like just so I can flavor it. And then once that's out of the way, then I get started on the stuff that I actually want to eat. And I don't really discriminate against what I actually dip in there, aside from, you know, aside from enoki mushrooms, obviously. Aside from that, I just go as I do, and then once I get to the end of it, well, I mean, that's where the bread comes in. Oh, but actually, the bread, I might actually save that for like the very last next time, because what I typically do with hot pot is at the very end, I try to have like some like ramen, you know, to soak up the last bits of like the broth, and then just have like some like makeshift like ramen thing going on, which is I think pretty common when it comes to like hot pot. But in terms of soaking up the rest of the broth, that's probably what I'll save the bread for. I mean, look, technically you can drink the broth, but I don't know. Just drinking the broth by itself in like a setting like this, I don't think, like, I would consider it a wasted opportunity. Like, hot pot is literally there so you can dip as much things as you can in it, like a large diversity of things in it, and then just have the broth flavor the thing that you're like, the thing that you're cooking in it, and just having a good time, having a good communal time with the people that you're with. Unless you're alone, like I was a couple of times, I have eaten hot pot by myself, like here and there, but usually I would want to have this with like some friends. Or just at least people around me, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. See, that's the thing I plan to do with the next hot pot meal I get. Just do things as I do normally, get some vegetables to flavor the broth, like actually like lay into it with like all the meats and everything, and then by the end of it do a combination of like ramen and fried bread just to soak up the last bits of the broth. Yeah, I think that's the simplest way I could put it. Oh man, honestly though, okay, look, I did get into a little bit of a thing with like hot pot, but I will also say that I think I'm starting to actually move away from soups. I think I'm actually starting to move away from soup, which is insane of me to say because, like, ramen is one of my favorite foods ever. Like, ramen or just anything like noodly soups. Like, noodly soups are some of my favorite, like, dishes ever. But I've been quickly figuring out that I get really full on broth. Like, broth makes me really full. Like, compared to just, like, eating anything else that's not, like, heavy. Well, actually, maybe even with heavy stuff, it's just liquids. Liquids take up a lot of real estate in my stomach that, for some reason, heavier, like, technically heavier foods, or, like, more greasy stuff and stuff like that, it just doesn't take up as much room in my stomach as broth does. I find that kind of weird. Like, if I want to get full quickly, I just need to order, like, a medium bowl of, like, just whatever have you. Like, whether it be pho, whether it be ramen, or any sort of anything like expanding from that, just a single bowl of that is enough to make me full for like a long time, probably even the rest of the day. It's just like that's what broth does for me, and I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I mean, it's the same thing with like milkshakes as well. Like milkshakes, man, if I drink like a milkshake, that's like enough for me for like a meal. It's insane to say, but it is honestly enough for me for a meal. Oh, and speaking of milkshakes too, I am suffering. Like, I'm not speaking of like milkshakes like by and in of itself, but you know, speaking of dairy specifically, I'm suffering. As you can tell by the intro screen right there, I'm currently suffering from the Asian debuff. That is, well, okay, I didn't have the message there all the time, just for like the first minute or two, but I'm currently suffering from the Asian debuff that is lactose intolerance. Lactose intolerance is absolutely just the bane of my existence in my adult life, whereas when I was younger, I didn't have much of a problem with it. And then lo and behold, college comes by, and not only does it like hurt you emotionally, apparently it hurts you physically too, in making your body realize, oh wait a second, I'm this denomination of people, I gotta go and kick it into high gear and make my host suffer the same way everybody else does. And that suffering is in the form of lactose intolerance. And God, this morning I was so thirsty because apparently in this hotel they're trying to make sure people don't take like hotel like glasses, like cups and stuff like that up to their rooms. So I'll explain this in a bit, but the hotel starting to do that, the hotel, when they started to do that, I was unable to get a glass for like myself, so I didn't really have anything to like drink up here for like the night yesterday. And in the morning of today's morning, I was so thirsty. Like, I was so thirsty that I was one of the first ones downstairs to eat breakfast, and then I end up like going like, okay, I could have water. It would probably have been sensible for me to have water. But I'm so thirsty that against my better judgment, I took two small cartons of whole milk. Just like, that's it. Like when I say carton, when people say carton, they think of the, like, you know, the tall rectangular thing. No, these are squares. Like, they were small. 2 small boxes of, like, milk. And then I just downed both of them, and then my stomach got racked. It literally got racked right up until the end of, like, class today. It was awful. But, man, milk is so good. My stomach doesn't like it, though. That's the unfortunate part. Ah, man, I'm literally growing into a person that's going to be fully lactose intolerant by the time I reach my prime, essentially. If you count, like, mid-30s as, like, some of these prime. But, man, is it awful. It's an awful feeling to know that a lot of your favorite foods are soon going to be unavailable to you because of this stuff. Because of this stuff that your body has decided to curse you with. But you know what? I'm just gonna try to enjoy it for as long as I can, right up until it actually starts to, like, seriously, like, affect me, like, health-wise. Because right now, it's just like gas and the shits, right? It's just like gas and the shits. The classics. The classic pairing of lactose intolerance. Gases and shits. Delicious, right? Now, I'm just gonna enjoy what I can right now. I'm literally just gonna try to enjoy it as I can right now. Shoot, when I get home, there's like a milkshake place or, well, an ice cream, like, restaurant. Maybe it's like a restaurant. I don't know. They specialize in ice cream, but you can get more savory options there too, like more diner food. But their specialty is like sundaes and milkshakes. I'm gonna go over there as soon as I get back. I'm just gonna have a milkshake. I'm gonna let it destroy me because I'm craving a milkshake right now. I don't care what it does to, like, my body. And it's also, well, especially more so because I just go in this hotel. One of the options for dessert is a classic ice cream. Classic ice cream. Like, you can get it in a cone, you can get it in a small cup, you know. Me personally, I wanted it in the small cup, but unfortunately over here, somehow they nixed having vanilla and chocolate, but they have strawberry for some reason. And I'm not a big fan of strawberry. But regardless on if I like strawberry or not, how come they don't have vanilla or chocolate? And I'm not even a chocolate person. Like, vanilla. Vanilla is my flavor. Vanilla is my flavor, and they didn't have it. That's like... Okay, this is a misconception that people, like, have normally. Like, they say vanilla is a basic flavor, and because of how prominent it is, and it's literally, like, the face of, like, you know, ice cream as a thing, in terms of flavors, yes, it is one of the basic ones, but it's definitely more harder to come by than you would think. Oh, excuse me. Ow. Wow. My model broke its neck there. Okay. Internal decapitation, just you know, twist your head a bit and then boom, like you know, slot it back in, right? No, but yeah. I'm just gonna say, how come when you're offering ice cream, you don't have like one of the cardinal flavors of ice cream? Like, the cardinal flavors of ice cream are vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Those three. How do you only have one of them? Like, last time I was here, they had the other two. But this time, they didn't have the other two, but they included, like, the third cardinal, like, flavor, strawberry, and that's it. Be consistent, mind you. Be consistent, hotel. Please. Like, by the time this week is done, I really just want to have, like, just vanilla ice cream, please. It'd be really nice if I could have vanilla ice cream. That'd be super nice. You know how long it's been since I've had ice cream? You know how long it's been? Man, last time I had ice cream, I was at said, like, ice cream, like, restaurant with, like, a friend of mine. Well, actually, this was the last time I had a milkshake. No, this is still a funny story, though. So last time I had a milkshake was at this, was at the same, ice cream, like, restaurant, diner place that, I mentioned earlier. And that time, basically, we got done with, eating at a ramen place that was nearby. And then we decided to get dessert, even though I was full of, like, ramen liquid. So against my better judgment, I decided to have a milkshake, alongside my friend here. Like, we had a good time. We also ordered some fries, and mind you, like, here's a side note about the fries. The fries were great, but also the ranch that they had, oh man, that was some great ranch, actually. Typically, ranch for me, a lot of places have their ranch really thick. This one was actually much, like, thinner, but not watery. It was that nice, like consistency where it coats the fry, but it doesn't, like, you know, drop off of it like the more liquidy kinds of ranches. It was great. It was great. But the main thing here was that right after finishing the milkshake I got, because I got a they called a jumbo, like, milkshake, where they actually give you the tin for extra, you know, for extra milkshake if you finish, like, the cup. God, that was one of the worst feelings I've ever had, like, in my life after a meal, because I seriously could not stand straight because of all the liquid that was in my body. That was so much liquid that was in my body that I had to, in a hunched over state, like, limp my way to the bathroom, and then, according to my friend, she said that I was having a war in there, and she was not wrong. It was a fucking massacre. It was the most hardest fought war I've ever partook in my young adult life. The war between my like stomach and like the toilet. That's just it was not pleasant, but she got a kick out of it. She was she was laughing so much at me, and honestly, I was laughing at myself too because the situation was absolutely funny. What's even funnier is that I think I spent 25 minutes, like, I shit you not, I think I spent 25 minutes in that bathroom. Oh my god. That was the last time, well, that was after that whole ordeal, I promised myself that I would reward myself with a jumbo milkshake in only, like, the most, like, you know, worthy of circumstances. I can't keep doing this. Also, it was not a good idea to have a milkshake after, like, ramen. Because, like I said, that was so much, like, liquid in my body that I could not stand straight. I literally could not stand straight. I was hunched over and with my upper torso twisted at, like, an angle because of just how much, like, milkshake had to go through, like, my body into, like, my stomach at the time. Just... Which, mind you, my stomach was pretty occupied, just saying. Ah, man. Yeah, it was awful. It was awful. But at the end of the day, there were laughs, and it was worth it to me. It was absolutely worth it. I still want ice cream, though. It would be so nice to have ice cream. After the stream, I might go downstairs and try to, I think I might try to see if... You know, the dessert section of the buffet they have, they finally got, like, a tub of vanilla in. Even if it's just a scoop. Even if it's just a scoop. I would absolutely love just, like, one scoop of vanilla. Man. Oh, that would be so good. Oh, speaking of over here. Ah, man. Just to divot the mood down a little bit, this class that I'm in right now for, like, work, it is so hard. It is honestly really hard. The last two classes I had, I picked up pretty quickly, but this class right here, I feel like I'm still, like, lost, and it's literally, like, the halfway point. And the last examination takes place on, like, Friday, and I still haven't really wrapped my head around, like, this, like, class and, like, the machine I gotta work on. It's just way too, like, overwhelming for me because I have no prior experience with this machine. That's one of them. But another thing is that how the machine is structured, wired out, and, like, you know, all that stuff. That's, honestly, it just confuses me because I feel like it has to be more complicated than that. When in fact, in the grand scheme of things, this thing is pretty straightforward. It has a lot of components, yes, definitely. But in terms of layout, it is very straightforward. In fact, the last two classes that I had, the layouts for those machines were probably, like, more confusing than this one, but it's just my mentality at this time basically makes me think that it is as complicated as the previous two classes machines, which this one is not. This machine is pretty old, but this is one we're gonna keep around just, well, because in modernity, in the modern day, what this machine does and processes is absolutely going to be, like, the future of, like, the industry that we're in. So, yeah. What I'm basically saying is, I don't get this class. And part of that, and, well, that part has me worried. I really hope I start to really, like, wrap my head around everything as soon as, like, tomorrow or the day after hits, just as long as it's not test day. if it's test day and I still don't get it, that's a really, like, bad sign. And I really hope in that case I still do pass. Well, in that case, I really hope that I pass, regardless. And that's because, well, if I don't pass, then I don't get to retain the position that I promoted into, like, at the start of this year. I really hope I pass. But worrying about that right now is kind of useless because, I mean, hey, class is not even in another, like, man, it's still quite a bit before, like, class tomorrow. So I probably shouldn't worry. Worrying too much is probably not good for, like, the health. So instead of doing that, let's just move on from this, because I'm just gonna say it's just, it can't be helped at the moment. And whenever the situation does come up where I do struggle, it's all on me. So, yeah. I can only do so much with venting about it. Actually, during class today, because of my quote-unquote attention issues, during the lecture today for the second part of class, I was actually looking through, I was looking through Twitter. I was actually looking up, further looking up the Guild Wars 2 classes and specializations. Because if you didn't know, yesterday I found out that Guild Wars 2, they released, like, new elite specializations for all their classes at some point during this year. And currently, right now, there are 3 that I really just want to play. And those 3, actually, I can actually go through this right now. Can I do this? Can I do this? Let's see. The Guild Wars 2. Oh my god, that is... Oh yeah, I forgot I zoomed in here. Haha. Let's see. Screen share. Haha, there we go. Ah, perfect. So, right here. There we go. Boom. Alright. We're gonna go through this too. We're actually just gonna go through this too. Because, man, I read through, like, the 3 specializations that I want to play in Guild Wars 2 at the moment. Like, I read through a ton of it, like in class today, while my attention span was just off elsewhere instead of, like, you know, the lecture that was happening in front of me. But, yeah, this is one of the classes that I want to play right now, Blade Sworn. You want to know why? It's because they have a gunblade. They have a gunblade. That's literally the reason why I want to play this class. They have a gunblade. Apparently, gunblade is a special stance. Yeah, apparently, the gunblade is a special stance for this, like, specialization. And it's not, like, an actual, like, weapon. It's like, how I can compare this is, well, you know how elementalists, they can summon weapons, they can summon elemental weapons that they can pick up and use for, like, for a little bit? I think that's the idea behind, like, the gun saber here. And if it works like that, then I could definitely, like, get behind it. Of course, I would like it as its own, like, weapon class, but that would essentially mean you would need to create and balance a new weapon to be usable by every class. Well, a lot more classes than warrior here. And let me tell you, I totally understand why they would go with this route in terms of just, like, alleviating the future headache of doing, like, just a new weapon type. But Blade Sworn here, Blade Sworn, this is one of the new specializations that just dropped this year with the Cantha expansion, whatever that is. Yeah, this is one of the ones that I want to play. This is definitely one of the ones that I want to play. By the sheer fact that it is a gunblade class, but they wield their gunblade like a katana, but they also have like a draconic element to their, you know, aesthetic. It's pretty cool. It is actually pretty cool. It does say here that they lose access to their traditional burst skills in, well, just so they can get their dragon slashes or something like that, whatever that mechanic is. And here's the thing. Here is the sad part, though. Here's the sad part. Apparently, the specialization is pretty bad at the moment. It's pretty bad, kind of wonky, and like it just needed more time in like the oven. Apparently, I don't know. That's what I was reading about. Yeah. Still though, I will still try out this class. I would still try out this class, the Bladesworn, simply because the aesthetic is just too cool. Yeah, simply because this aesthetic is just way too cool for me not to try. Even though I am quickly realizing that this might be like a very gimped, like elite specialization. Still gonna do it though. Still gonna do it. Gunblades are cool. I mean, I will say this as a Phantasy Star Online 2 player back in the day. I was the kind of guy that before Luster dropped, I tried to make Gunblade like work. I absolutely tried my best to make a normal Gunblade work. And I'd like to think that I was like successful in it to the best of my ability. Gunblade is honestly one of the coolest weapons in like just Phantasy Star. And I'm waiting for the day in that New Genesis releases that updated New Genesis updated Luster class, Gunblade class. I know it's not going to be called Luster, but it's going to be called something else. Yeah, I'm waiting for that day so I can actually return the game proper. Oh, and also if the game like actually has, you know, decent content to do and doesn't feel like a mobile game like Tower of Fantasy. God, the lack of stuff to do in like NGS, but at least the last time I played it just reminded me of like Tower of Fantasy. Well, today, looking back at it. Because Tower of Fantasy is recent, more recent than like NGS, obviously. But yeah, the lack of stuff to do in the overworld is just nah. Yeah, count me out of that. But yeah, this is one of the classes that, well, specializations that I do want to play when I get back to Guild Wars 2. The other one is NG. Specifically, the Mechanist. The Mechanist, like, specialization. Finally. Literally, like, honestly, finally, whatever. Okay, who are the devs behind, like, this game? Well, whatever. The devs behind this game finally gave us a specialization for engineer that's like, you know, pet-based. Like, truly pet-based. You know, creating your bodyguard and having it fight for you and stuff like that. You know, you can make sure your robot can, like, specialize in damage dealing support, or, like, either damage, support, tanking, like, giving it the versatility through, like, their pet and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a pet summoner, like, that kind of pet summoner where it's like you don't summon multiple things, you summon one thing, but that one thing is pretty beefy. Like, I mean, the devs finally gave us that. Even if I have to use maces, that's fine. Just as long as we finally have, like, a mech pet class. This is definitely one of the ones that I do want to play, though I do want to play Bladesworn more than this one. I'm probably gonna save this as either, like... I'm thinking of either... when I buy the expansion, when I get back home, maybe I'll level boost a Mechanist to 70, because I don't think I personally would want to play, like, Mechanist, like, as a leveling experience. I don't know. Honestly. Honestly, I can't tell you. Let's see. But yeah, let's see. Okay, this is one of the classes that I still haven't like read too much into. It says the mech replaces tool belt skills. Oh, I know the tool belt is definitely like a thing with machinists. Oh, engineer, mind you, engineer. It gives you a lot of like, tools, like tossing, like healing, or like tossing buffs, tossing like poison, tossing like all this stuff, putting down like turrets and everything. But apparently mechanist, the tool belt gets replaced with like the mech, and that is your tool belt now. I mean, is it going to be as versatile as like the tool belt? I can't say, because I have never really like played, Engie like that. I only started like what was that race again? An Azura like Engie before I stopped playing the game, so I can't really tell you if and if this is a good trade-in for like the tool belt. One way that I'll find out is when I actually get to playing this. Yeah. Honestly, the fact of the matter is that we finally have an NG class that's like mech pet based. Like a main pet. Not like, hey, I'm gonna drop down just a couple of like mobs that like help support me and stuff like that. No. I have a big beefy boy, I hide behind him, and then I support him. He's the damage dealer, not me. So it's kind of like a situation with Summoner and in Final Fantasy like 11, I think. That kind of stuff is cool. That kind of stuff is cool to me. It is. It really is. Oh, but the final class though. The one that I want to play the most is Catalyst. Now, before I get into why I want to play as a Catalyst, I will say though that... Oh, cool, a comment. Let's see. Hey baby. Okay, I see. Somehow I get the feeling that this is that this might be a bot. I have no clue. Well. Anyway, let's do this. Oh, that doesn't work. Oop. Well, whatever. Whatever, that comment is just gonna, like, block this lady's face, I guess. No, so, I understand now why a lot of people don't necessarily like the concept of the Catalyst. And the reason why is because I think what a lot of people wanted was a more, they wanted a more unique specialization for the Elementalists, like, say, like a gun-toting, like, Elementalist where they shoot elemental bullets and stuff like that. I can definitely see why people would want that. Because comparatively, all of the specialization ideas that I've seen being tossed around in the comments section for the Catalyst's announcement video, I can definitely see why those would conceptually be more interesting than this. Because what this essentially is that, let's see, how do I describe this? Catalyst is where Weaver is essentially like a high skill ceiling, high damage, but that's it kind of class. Catalyst is essentially a bit slower, more tankier. They're the elemental warrior. Whereas Weaver is like just maybe like an elemental like rogue or like duelist or something. This one is the warrior of like the elementalists. Which in the grand scheme of things is not very like, diverse or like divergent from the other specializations like alongside it. Very fair to say. Definitely very fair to say. But for me personally, this is the class that I'm essentially most excited for. And here's some backstory. Here is some backstory to this. I want to say that my my absolute favorite, like, class. Actually, let me do this. Yeah, my absolute favorite class in any, like, MMO ever is Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement Spec Shaman from World of Warcraft. Now, why am I so confident in this, though? Like, I'm so confident in this because I did not grow up with World of Warcraft at all. I did not. I did not grow up with World of Warcraft at all. And I still say this is one of my favorite classes to play. I think the reason why I really like Enhancement Shaman is because it fulfills the Elemental Warrior aspect with a lot of lore flavor, and on top of that, it has, like, a lot of hybrid roles, too. It has a lot of hybrid roles. Like, it has a lot of versatility at a cost, at a big cost, though. Because here's the thing that even I can agree with. Vanilla Enhancement Shaman was absolutely not a great class. It was not. Like, without totems, without Wind Fury, without, like, you know, your spells, or whatever little spells you had, like, as an Enhancement Shaman, take all of those away and you're just, like, a chainmail wearing, like, warrior who auto-attacks, and that's basically it. It is definitely pales in comparison to normal warrior, like proper warrior. But for me, what I like about the class is essentially the flavor behind the class, the elemental warrior aspect, the RNG of Wind Fury. Wind Fury is one of my favorite, like, abilities in any MMO ever. Just, like, buffing yourself with Wind Fury. Assuming, if I'm remembering correctly, Wind Fury is a buff, right? Or maybe, like, you put down, like, a Wind Fury totem and then, boom, you get the Wind Fury buff. But fact of the matter is that trying to RNG the triple hit is one of the most satisfying things I've experienced in an MMO proper. And I think the reason why it's so, like, satisfying in, like, vanilla or, like, classic WoW is, well, the reason why... I mean, the reason why is because just how jank it looked. Like, it was pretty jank, okay? Like, the animation for hitting a Wind Fury was pretty jank, because normally if you have procced multi-strikes in an MMO, what they do with that is that your character looks like they attack once, but then have a little effect on your character, and oh, my bad. You have a little effect on your character, and then you see other damage numbers pop up. That's how you would normally do, like, multi-hits, right? That's how you would normally, like, do, like, multi-hitting moves. The thing about Enhancement Shaman... Where's the WoW Wiki? Where the hell's the WoW Wiki? Oh, there it is. Jeez. I wanted to find this the whole time. Yeah, I want to find this the whole time. But yeah, no. For Enhancement Shaman in Classic and, like, Vanilla WoW, what happens is that when you proc Wind Fury, when you proc the triple hit, your character will essentially, like, they will just deal damage. The animation for a normal attack will play, like, 3 times really fast. It is kind of silly looking. Not gonna lie, it is kind of silly looking, alright? Like, it is pretty silly looking, but it was nonetheless very satisfying to see and to hear. Like, whatever weapon, whatever two-hander you could get on, like, your Enhanced Shaman, just seeing those Wind Fury procs is just, like, chef's kiss, and one of the hallmarks of why this class is one of my favorite classes in any, like, MMO ever. Yeah, and not only that, like I said earlier, I like that, I like that the Enhanced Shaman...
Where's the shaman down here? The enhanced shaman is essentially like... They're essentially like a jack of all trades, master of none. Definitely leaning into the master of none part. Unless instead of enhancement, you're going into like restoration or elemental. Like restoration is a pretty good healer. It may not be druid healing, but it's definitely pretty good healing. Elemental, I mean, it's basically your ranged nuker, like that kind of stuff. Pretty good as well. Enhancement was like the redheaded stepchild of like the specializations, especially back in the day, according to what I heard. And I can see why. I can experience why. But yeah, nonetheless, like classic enhanced shaman is one of my favorite classes in any MMO ever. And shaman, well, enhanced specifically, like enhanced shaman to this day, even in modern WoW, remains one of my favorite classes to play. That said, though, you can't really get that kind of like class in many MMOs. In fact, a whole ton of them, in fact, most of them, you can't really have the enhanced shaman like playstyle, like experience, like class feel and everything. You just can't. Because everything that the enhanced shaman can do, even though they couldn't do it well, aspects of that class you'll find probably spread out through different classes in each MMO. There's not really another MMO that has like an enhanced shaman like class where it's like elemental warrior, you drop like totems for like buffs, you have some healing, I guess, as like emergency. But at the end of the day, you're just a big, beefy elemental warrior who who relies on, like, really satisfying procs and just, like, different, like, kinds of buffs to, like, upkeep and, like, support, like, the party from time to time, you know? That is until Guild Wars 2, that is until Guild Wars 2 released this class, the Catalyst. And the Catalyst right here, I would say, is Guild Wars 2's version of... Well, it's basically enhanced shaman. This is essentially enhancement shaman. Like, let's see the class lore here. Essentially, they take advantage of like the 4 elements to let's see. They tap into, well, okay, using Jade Spheres. In this case, Jade Spheres are basically like, you know, totems. That's, well, from what I'm reading, that's what Jade Spheres essentially are, but they're more kind of in line with how totems were in later iterations of, like, WoW, in later updates of WoW. They're not classic totems, but they are still totems in functionality. Well, maybe not complete functionality, but close enough. Now, what these totems, what these Jade Spheres do is that they can tap into and summon, like, manifestations of, like, Great Celestials to both damage enemies and provide boons. Basically, this right here tells you Jade Spheres are totems, essentially. Let's see. They learn augment skills to temporarily empower themselves with elemental forces, reducing the recharge of these skills if cast while inside a Jade Sphere, channeling that same element. So they do, like, weave more of their active skills into, like, their, what is essentially, like, totems. That's pretty cool. I like more interaction with this kind of aspect of, like, the class. Catalyst can wield hammers, a heavy weapon that allows them to literally whirl the elements, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, you get a two-hander. This is literally enhanced shaman, like, classic with, like, well, vanilla, like, swinging around like a big two-hander. And what's the iconic weapon of a vanilla enhanced shaman? Like an endgame vanilla enhanced shaman. Thank you to the thank you to the PvP montages for these guys. That would be... Would it be the Sulfurous Hammer? Was it the Sulfurous Hammer? I have no clue. It's basically that raid hammer that you see from that, you know, very first, like, raid in, like, World of Warcraft. I don't even know what that raid is. I never even got to raiding in, like, Classic, so I can't even tell you. Was it the Sulfurous Hammer? It was, yeah, Sulfurous Hand of Ragnaros. This weapon right here. This weapon right here is the, I would say it's the iconic weapon of enhanced shamans, even though other classes can definitely, like, use them at a much better, like, definitely much better than, like, enhanced shamans, unless I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong. But yeah, this was the weapon you would see, thanks to, like, a few specific famous PvP videos involving, like, enhanced shaman, aka 50 hours of footage edited down to every Wind Fury proc. Thank you, Unbreakable. But yeah, either way, you get to swing around a honking two-hander. You have, like, a totems, and you have the elemental warrior aspect of the character. I mean, shoot, the Jade Sphere can be summoned in an area, creating a combo field and granting boons to allies in its radius based on the Catalyst attunement at deployment. That's just totems. This is just totems. You honk around a two-hander. You honk around a two-hander. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's just say that. You honk around a two-hander. This is an enhancement shaman. Yeah, no, this is absolutely an enhancement shaman. And, yeah. Thank you, Guild Wars 2, for finally providing me a class that is not Weaver to be like an elemental warrior. Because with Weaver, I thought I was gonna be like, you know, well, Weaver, you essentially, like, weave in different combinations of, like, elements to have different, like, types of moves and everything, and there's, like, a very strict, like, rotation with the class, and it has a very high skill ceiling, very low health, very high potential damage, but damage is all it can do. Like, in concept, it is kind of a cool class, but it does not fulfill the enhancement shaman fantasy that I desperately so want in another game that's not World of Warcraft. Because, mind you, I'm not going to be playing World of Warcraft ever, like, well, not ever again, but in the near future, I'm not going to be playing World of Warcraft. It's just, it's going through some shit. Classic, maybe, but modern, no. Modern, definitely not. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no. This right here is the main reason I'm coming back to Guild Wars 2 now. When I get home, I'm gonna download Guild Wars 2. I'm gonna see if I can, like, because I already have a Weaver. I just started off with, like, a Weaver, and didn't play them again, like, way back when. Like, I leveled up the entire way, like, just to get to Weaver. Played it a little bit, was unsatisfied, and then I stopped playing the class. I stopped playing, like, the class. And then I moved on to, I don't know, Guardian, I think. But either way, now that this is here, oh man, I'm absolutely coming back to this game. In fact, I might even be streaming it too, who knows. Though that said, I don't know if Guild Wars 2 makes for a good streaming experience. I don't know, man. Yeah. Oh, the funny thing is, too, I wonder if I'm still in, like, Silvervale's guild. Like, because, I'm just gonna say, back when I was playing Guild Wars 2, I was one of the folks who managed to get into, like, Silvervale's, like, Guild Wars 2 guild. And then, obviously, because if people are familiar with the way I play MMOs, I struggled to contribute in the proper way because I didn't know how doing the guild thing worked. Though the guild facility was kind of baller. Though I have a feeling that when I log back in, the guild is probably, like, disbanded and everything like that, or there's barely anybody, like, playing in the guild anymore. Thing is, I know Zentreya still hops back into the game from time to time, so maybe I can just, like, port myself over to Zentreya's, like, you know, guild. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, that all depends on if I can actually change my elite specialization for, like, my Weaver to Catalyst. If I can't do that, then I'm gonna level up a brand new, I'm just gonna level up a brand new Elementalist. I don't care. I'm gonna level up a brand new Elementalist just so I can play Catalyst. Like, I promise you that if I can't change my specialization, if I can't change my specialization for Elementalist, I will level up another like Elementalist just to be able to play Catalyst. And I don't care if Catalyst might not be good. I mean, I can't tell yet. I haven't really looked that up. The only one I really looked up on if they're good or not is Bladesworn. But with Catalyst, even if I find out that Catalyst is not good, I'm still gonna play the class because, yeah, just to me, the spiritual successor to Enhancement Shaman is something that is just made for me. Just, I need to figure out, I also need to find out if this class also has, like, something akin to Wind Fury. Here's the thing with Guild Wars 2, I don't think they ever, like, gave the player, in terms of any class, the ability to RNG a multi-hit. So, I'm not sure. Maybe, like, Rain of Blows. That do it? Strike your foes repeatedly. Enemies hit by all strikes become chilled. It's not wind, but if it is a multi-hit, damage goes 4 hits. Huh. So it's a 4-hitter. Oh, but it's like... Oh, but it's a small... It's a small AoE too. It can hit 3 targets. Okay. Like, Air Attunement definitely doesn't have, like, any sort of, like, RNG'd multi-hits, so no, like, Wind Fury. But even though Wind Fury might be my favorite, like, skill or, like, mechanic in, like, any MMO ever, I can, like, leave it behind if I can just have the feeling of playing an Enhancement Shaman again. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, whenever I get back to Guild Wars 2, when I get back home, I'm going to download Guild Wars 2, and I'm going to just go all in on this. I am going to try out Bladesworn and, like, Mechanist 2, but this is the priority right here. And if this ends up being, like, as satisfying to play as Enhanced Shaman, then I think I might actually stick with Guild Wars 2. I think I might actually stick with Guild Wars 2. I am not even gonna lie with you. I mean, I'm playing, like, PSO2... Well, not PSO2, but Phantasy Star Universe, like, off-stream. And I'm having a blast with that, but I will gladly drop it if this ends up taking, like, my interest in its entirety. But yeah. Yeah, that's my whole rant about why I'm possibly going to get back into Guild Wars 2, and I now regret just deleting Guild Wars 2 off of this laptop because I thought, hey, I'm probably never going to be playing Guild Wars 2 ever again. So why did I download it? Turns out, I should have had a good reason to download it, it's just that I didn't do enough research, and now I'm regretting it. But that's okay. I literally have 2, 3, 4 days left until I can go back home. So, in 4 days, maybe I can finally play this class. But that depends. Can I actually, like, change specialization? Can I change elite specialization? Oh! Huh. I can. I actually can. Okay, so it's not as restrictive as I thought. Oh, that's good. Huh. Okay. Oh, here's the problem, though. The things that get... I forgot about hero points. Hero points are a thing in Guild Wars 2, huh? I wonder if I spent, like, my hero points already, because if I didn't, then apparently I can just easily swap to Catalyst, just from the menus and everything. I don't even have to, like... I don't even have to play, like, I don't even have to talk to anybody. I can just change from Weaver to Catalyst, like, just like that. So if that's true, then hey, alright, I don't have to spend long and, I wouldn't say arduous, just tedious hours just grinding, just leveling, just so I can play like one specialization. So it's not as restrictive as I thought. So I'm happy about that. I think that's a good place to end the stream because I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood now because I got to, you know, I forgot the word. I forgot how English works. I got to gush. I got to gush about my favorite class in any, like, MMO ever. Out of every MMO, yeah, I got to gush about my favorite class. Yeah, that's... I don't know. That's a good... That's a... I always like doing that, even though I might be a bit irritating with it. Well, not on stream, but irritating to myself sometimes about it. I'm just being completely honest with myself. I'll always be a shaman main, even when I'm not playing the game. Yeah. Hopefully WoW gets like a turnaround, but I mean, look. Realistically, they're gonna have to work really hard for WoW Modern to turn around and grab people back in again. Yeah. But until then, well, playing Enhanced Shaman proper in Modern is going to be just a dream, but there is a suitable alternative, fingers crossed. With that, I'm gonna go now. Internet seems to be fine. I'll still try to figure out if there's another game I can play on Thursday, but we'll see. We'll see about that. I might actually, like, try to start playing Baldur's Gate 2 since I have that downloaded on this computer, but yeah, we'll just wait and see. Yeah, with that, I'm off. You guys have a good day. Sorry for the short stream. Like I said, I'm very concerned about, like, the internet quality over here. I'm gonna look through, like, my Twitch creator dashboard or whatever have you. I'm gonna see if I can, like, start streaming at, like, maybe not, like, at 1080p, but, like, maybe 720 or something. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, I'm off. Have a good evening, and, take care. Alright.